What's up, everybody? It's the Woodward Bets Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. I'm Scott G. Risen. It's Monday, joined today by Detroit Beastie. Man, it sounds like you've had a quite interesting afternoon so far today. Is it the Lions, Jinx, or what? They got you today, or what's going on here?
Yeah, it's a ton of stuff. And I told you, I texted you, yesterday about the Lions game and what the heck's going on. And then this morning, I woke up and it's parked in the garage, my car. I got a brand new Buick SUV. Don't make any secret about that. I'm not made of money, but it was a good deal. And the back tire was absolutely flat. There was nothing. I mean, it was on the rim. I turned on the car and it was 0.0 PSI. So I go to do that. I just bought a brand new compressor too, which I shared in my text message. Hopefully folks like what I'm talking about because it's so nasty and it has my head going. I couldn't find the fitting, the quick connect fitting on the compressor to get the air in the tire. So I had to walk down the street to, his name is Dick. He's like a retired FBI agent. Great dude. I filled up his little air tank. I put air in the tire and then I split, and things just have not been going my way today. And look, I watched the Lions game here and there. I didn't watch it from start to finish live. I caught clips of it and I went from there. And I don't know what the heck we're doing here in Detroit with the Lions. I shared briefly last time you and I got together. It's just been awful. And I really don't know what to do. So in that case, I do nothing, right? You get a lot of folks, it's fight or flight. Are you going to give up? Are you going to fight and go through it? This Lions team right now is dangerously close to, for the first time ever in my life as a Detroiter and as a Lions fan, this team is dangerously close to losing a large portion of their fan base. Now, that was the thing since day one. Martha Ford, whoever the Fords own this company, they need to sell it. But there's only one thing we can do. The city of Detroit, we've said it since day one. Quit buying the merchandise, quit showing up to the stadium and supporting this team. And if you look around the stadium in the fourth quarter, I believe at the moment it was like 44-0, right? And there were still people in there. It was less filled than I had originally thought normally, but people were leaving at halftime. And that's the only way we're ever going to make a dent here. Look, I love Dan Campbell. I think he's a great dude, very emotional. He's my coach, right? And Brad Holmes as the GM is fantastic too. But what are we doing with this team in general? The complete lack of talent. There's a complete lack of accountability from the ownership. All we ever see is, no slight to Chris Spielman, but we see these videos where Martha Ford or her daughter, they show up and it's all fun and games. Chris Spielman, they surprised him with the Ring of Honor stuff or the Kelvin Johnson stuff. And they never talk serious about, we want to move, we want to take the next step. And we all know that the season was going to be nasty. It was going to be bad. For, head coaching change, everything's going from there. We have Jared Goff at quarterback, who is unbelievably awful. Don't get me started there. But look, this team is bad. It's worse than I ever thought. In my 37 years on this earth here, Scott, I've never seen a Detroit Lions team like this. And that's saying something, given the fact that they were 0-16 a few years ago, which led to the draft pick of Matthew Stafford. There is no light at the end of this tunnel in front of, for me personally. So where do we go? Do we let it affect my regular everyday life? I gave that up a long time ago. Here I am. I put on my nice sweater. It's brand new, just came in the mail. I have my nice hat on, my nice watch and everything. So my everyday life has not changed. So why do I constantly let the Detroit Lions kind of hamper me, hold me back, irritate me? So this morning, tire was flat. Back to the original point. And it just a snowball effect because the Lions are so bad. They're so embarrassing. I'm nobody special, just a drop in the ocean. But the fact that I have some sort of presence on social media is embarrassing. I don't have kids. And now I know, like, when you have a son or daughter that does something stupid, they barf at a party or they do something weird, the parents are embarrassed. I am unbelievably embarrassed to be a Detroit Lions fan because Detroit is in my Twitter name. Look at it on the screen, at Detroit Beastie. So where do we go? Do we cut off all communication? Do we leave it alone? Do we leave it be? It's just not in my DNA. As an East Sider, as a Detroit Lions guy, as a Michigander, it's just not in my blood to give up on the Lions. But it's time that we start scaling it back. I mean, I know the Lions, they absolutely take over all of the media here in Detroit, but there needs to be like a cut here. We need to cut something off, and I don't know what it is. I'm not a surgeon. I'm still working it out as I go. So, yes, Scott, that's how my morning and how my day has gone so far.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about these Lions. I mean, the 2008 Lions are 0-16. What do you think the spread would be if they actually played each other? I think the 2008 Lions would be favored, to be truthful, because I don't think
I
anybody on
agree.
this team could cover Calvin Johnson. So, but Chris, I had a pretty shitty weekend in NFL myself. I'll tell you what, my bets were 0-4 in NFL on
Oh,
the show I gave. But I'll just give everybody a little. Hey, sometimes you're going to have weekends like that. But hey, just like my sign says back here, Vaseline helps when you get bent over like that, and you just don't do. You just, I mean, it's just not a good weekend when you go 0-4. It sucks, man. Like my one buddy says on Twitter, he's like, yeah, when you get fisted by the book, just make sure you get some Vaseline. It kind of helps it out. But hey, you bounce back up, you do what you got to do. But being a Lions fan, Chris, I'm 49 years old, man. I gave up on that a long time ago. That's why I play DFS. I play all the fantasy sports. That's why I do all the stuff like that I do. But I just I can't stand to watch them. I'll watch them a little bit, and then I just I move on. I'll rather cheer for my players. But then yesterday, you talk about some of the players I had. I'm sitting there with DraftKings. I play a little bit on DraftKings. I'm sitting there. I had three guys actually started out really well: Henderson, Carter, and I had Pittman Jr. Everything's looking great. I got a New Orleans stack coming back later. Got Winston with Traquan, James Robinson, and then I got Godwin, and then I got Washington defense, right? So I'm all excited thinking this is going to be a great day. Watching Jamison throws a quick touchdown to Traquan Smith. I'm thinking, man, he's going to kick his old team's ass. Godwin is getting all kinds of looks. This is going to be great. Next thing I know, what happens? Jameis gets hurt. Bam. Robinson gets hurt. Bam. I'm thinking, this is not good. Like what? My whole hopes and dreams literally in 5 minutes went to shit. I didn't even have a chance to cash. I was literally thinking that I was going to win a truckload of money, but unfortunately, that is not what happened. I just got absolutely rolled over. All my bets, all my DFS, very frustrating. And then last night, on top of it, Chris, I'm sitting there watching some baseball, all excited. My Braves are up 4-bagel, and then I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? I need these Astros to win because I got a few bets for them to win in 6 here, Atlanta. So fortunately, that helped out. But when it was 4-0, I was thinking, oh, this isn't good. Oh boy. But you know what? It was one of them days, but and then I mow a bunch of candy and eat all them Butterfingers and Baby Ruths and all that shit, and I get a couple, big old chocolate zits on my face. So hey, Chris, I get you. I'm with you, buddy. But guess what? We're gonna start over this week, and we're gonna have us a better week. How about that? But yeah, really rough couple days here for us, but had some fun yesterday and Halloween. Had a bunch of kids come through. I don't know if you saw me yesterday, Chris. I was Urban Meyer yesterday on our show and got quite a few chuckles. I'll have to tell you, I parked at the MGM, down at the casino, parked down there, got out of my truck, and I literally walked with that blow-up doll I had on the show all the way over there to Chelly. So I had to walk, a good couple blocks. And had to stop and take some pictures with a few folks and whatever else. And it was even funny. Even photobombed somebody with the blow-up doll at one point, which was kind of funny. But we had a lot of fun over there in the tin roof. We were all excited, hopes and dreams that the Lions might actually pull it off. Chris, I went on the air and predicted the Lions were going to win 28-24, and boy, did I look like a donkey. Man, and you know what? You can't sit there and watch this coach cry anymore. It just doesn't do any good. Like, stop. You got to stop pouting and whining, man. These guys are grown damn men. I mean, they got to get out there and play. I mean, they look uninspired. They just didn't even look like they were even in the game from minute one. And you know how bad it is, Chris, when the network cut out from your game? They didn't even let us finish the game on the network. They cut out from the Lions. That's how bad it was. So
rightfully so,
man,
thankfully.
Right. I agree with you. But as we said, we get to move on a little bit, and we're going to move on. But, hey, one of the fun things we do, though, is over at Underdog, Chris, we like to get on there and play different player props. You can get on there, mix up different kind of game action. You can get in some live drafts if you want. I know there's, 4-player drafts, especially for like tonight's game. That's a lot of fun. But you can use our promo code WSN. Get on to get you 10 free dollars. Like I said, it's been a lot of fun. I know we've had few guys reach out to us and say they turned our free $10 into something good. But hey, Chris, I saw your tweet the other day. Looks like you cashed out a little bit on FanDuel yourself. I saw all kinds of hundies laying on the bed, and your buddy there was quite enjoying it. Your pet there, but man, that looks like you had a nice
Beastie,
little
yeah.
yeah little lunch money coming your way.
Well, I try to. I've done this since day one. When you kind of got a little bit better with DFS and the sports betting, I would, normally I try and cash out every Friday like a paycheck. In my regular, real, everyday life and career, I get paid every 2 weeks. But with FanDuel and the DFS, I can cash out every Friday without fail. But I hadn't done that in quite some time. It's been a few months, so I let the funds kind of accumulate and go from there. And I cashed out yesterday afternoon, so before lock. I had enough money in there where I said, you know what, I have, X amount of money I can play with and do some parlays and some DFS stuff. But I wanted to cash out just to have it, keep some money in the house. I'm not going to give anybody my address because, again, I'm 37, Scott, kind of still in that old school mindset where I always like to carry cash, right? Cash is king. Debit cards, that stuff can fail. So I cashed out. And last season in NFL, I have these weird, like a bucket list kind of things I want to do with DFS. And one of them was make it through an entire NFL season without making a deposit. So I did that last season. So there's no reason to keep, tens of thousands of dollars in my FanDuel account. So I cashed out a little bit yesterday morning after breakfast, and it came early this afternoon. So I cashed out, and we go from there, squirrel it away. And here we go.
Yeah, you know what? You did mention something to me. I know a lot of people have asked me a lot, they're novice players, how fast do you get your money back? How fast when you cash out do you get it? You and I were talking how incredibly fast it is. I know I use DraftKings and I use FanDuel, more so on FanDuel, but man, they zip it right into your PayPal account. I personally have a PayPal credit card, so I can just use it and go around. So once it's in there, I know you like to move it from PayPal to your own bank. But they are really quick with those cash. I mean, if you ask FanDuel for to cash out, it'll be there the next morning. Really quick, like even sometimes later in that same day. So they're really good about that, which they got to be. But yeah, just to reassure everybody, Beastie got that money pretty quick. He probably cashed out that night and probably had it by lunchtime the next day in his account, which is always nice to do. But Chris, let's real quick before let's see if we can get my lineup posted up that I like to share, just kind of go through my lineup and kind of just look at my thought process that I had, and then we can look at what the Millie maker was. But so just kind of looking. So as you guys notice, FanDuel, what you guys got to pay attention to on FanDuel, they'll move the prize pools, the amounts. They even move the rake, and the rake is how much money they take, the percentage. So. And they'll even remove the payout line on the bottom. So always when you enter contests, they do change from week to week. So as you see, they were giving away a milli, and now quite silence here, only won 300K because these contests start to shrink a little bit as the season goes through. As you see, I was a whopping 80-some points off. But, I went for it. As I said, I went for Winston. I thought Winston was going to be in a good spot. He came out really well. On this team here on DK, I did have I got Callaway here, but the other team I had, I'm having a brain fart. But the other guy there, I forgot whoever he is. Sorry, but I got Godwin here. But as you see, Swift, he didn't do me any favors at all. You look at this guy's team, Michael Carter. I did have some Michael Carter in some spots, and Chris and I did talk about him a little bit. But man, he was one of the highest scoring guys yesterday, which was pretty much unpredictable, but. Had Kamara, the tight end from Pittsburgh, did fairly well. But as you see, I didn't get any favors from Robinson, who I thought was just in a great smash spot. I thought the Jags were going to do a little bit better. Robinson ends up getting hurt, which killed us. But just kind of looking here at the way the guy who won, he built his team. You see he stacked up Beasley, obviously, with Allen there. Got a big whopping 29 points. Beasley, they had to throw the ball quite a bit underneath. We did kind of mention that a little bit to where Miami is pretty good at some of those deep balls, especially with Howard coming back. But then you see here you had A.J. Brown in one of the top games as far as over-under. Keenan Allen was fairly cheap. Goddard was a guy we mentioned, and then that Denver defense there, which today, Chris, as you saw, they traded Von Miller over to Stafford and then Miami Ram or LA Rams. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy. I got that season long bet as we talked about early on. The Rams win the Super Bowl. So hey, now we're looking at where, they're in a really good spot here, adding Von Miller basically almost for free. They got him for a couple draft picks, which I thought was interesting. But just kind of going through some other news, Chris, man, I don't know if you got any Derrick Henry, buddy. I'm sorry. He's I think all them touches finally got to him. You couldn't expect to give the ball 500 times to a dude through a season and expect him to make it through. So, man, I don't know what they were thinking down there in Tennessee. You can't give a guy the ball that much. It's just do the math. I mean, eventually he's just going to get hurt. So we saw it. Sounds like he may have a chance to come back toward the end of the playoffs if they get that far. But man, I don't know, Chris. Did you got any shares of him in any of your season longs?
I do a few of them, but I also have Darrington Evans as well, or Jeremy McNichols. I think that's the move for right now, for the foreseeable future. And as it stands now, I've seen a lot of folks already talking about Tennessee adding Adrian Peterson maybe, or making a trade for Rojo in Tampa Bay. All this stuff, none of it is concrete right now because it's just literally happened. We're waiting on the MRI results from Derrick Henry, and yeah, it's bad. We look at Derrick Henry, at least I do, as kind of like an impenetrable kind. Look at the photo. He can't be injured. He can't be hurt. He's a monster. He carries the ball constantly, and there's little to no consequence here. So to me, that's a massive bummer. Just another, I don't want to say blip on the radar because it's not that, just another nasty injury this season, and they just don't seem to be letting up here. So where does that leave us now? Leaves us holding our hat, like kind of looking around like dummies. What do we do next? Just another injury here that has devastating results.
Yeah, it's just sad you see some of these guys get hurt, and I know it's just bad for the game all the way around too. I mean, Derrick Henry, obviously one of the best players in the NFL. We had a couple other guys go down. Jameis Winston, as I mentioned. That's why we got them horse collar rules, man. That guy got dragged down by the back of his shirt, twisted his leg up. Kind of ruined my hopes and dreams for the day. Gronk yesterday had some back spasms. His ribs were good to go, but all of a sudden before the game, he apparently had some back spasms. And then I had some shares of some Sam Darnold yesterday too, and some DFS, Chris. I like that Carolina-Atlanta game. I did like the over on the show too. We obviously saw that didn't go so well, but Sam Darnold ended up leaving with a concussion, and then James Robinson, as we saw, went out with a heel, and then Prescott was unable to suit up. And then Calvin Ridley, we got news late yesterday for personal reasons. He was going to be out. And, I looked it up. I have Calvin Ridley. I actually had him in a couple DFS lineups, Chris, and saw it was a personal thing. And I will say, everybody you guys got to realize these guys are humans too. They go through things. And these guys are getting their heads smashed in and stuff, having different concussion issues. You know what? So, hey, if the guy's having any kind of personal issues, any kind of dealings, maybe we don't know what he's dealing with at home. That's his business. If he's not able to come to work, nobody yells and complains to you and your coworkers unless you do it habitually and miss it. I mean, let's give the guy a break a little bit. It is what it is. That's why you should have backups, everything else. Hey, it's not our business though, but just kind of wanted to get that out there. And Chris, I know you deal with kind of, I know you like to, you've told me before, you've worked with some special ed people, older adults. And, I know you're closer to it than me. You're a counselor. So I know, if you want to say anything about that, I know you're pretty open about it on social media, but, I think it's a good time for, people to get that out there if need be.
Yeah, people look at it as an individual thing, right? If you're a fantasy sports player or DFS player, you look at a decision like Calvin Ridley and you're upset. Like, how could this guy do this to me in my insignificant fantasy football team? You said it best moments ago. These guys are human beings. They go through stuff. So I applaud Calvin Ridley for coming out and saying, you know what? I need some time away. I need to be in peace. I need to get my mind right. Maybe it's him personally. Maybe it's a family member. So I absolutely say good job to Calvin Ridley for taking the time needed. Wouldn't you rather have him take a few weeks off and kind of regroup, reset, maybe get his mind right, than him some nasty incident down the road where he does something silly, he gets arrested, he hurts himself, or he hurts somebody else? Again, I don't know if it's that serious, but again, it is that serious for him to step away from the Atlanta Falcons and from the NFL at this moment in time. So to me, I applaud Calvin Ridley. It's a great move, a move that not a lot of folks, especially grown men, especially in a position like that, playing in the NFL, would take there. We're raised, maybe not so much now, but way back when, even in my era, where, it's a sign of weakness. If you're going to cry, if you're going to say, you know what, I need help, I can't do it myself, that's a sign of weakness. Those days are long gone. We know there's some folks that still live that way. And again, there's only so much I can do. There's only so much we can do as a collective society. But the stigma of mental illness and also drug and alcohol abuse, it's kind of been abolished now, where you're okay to come out and say, I need help. I'm doing this. I don't, it's just all over the place. So to come out and say, you know what, I'm at least of sound mind and I need some help. I need to step away. I need to see somebody about this. That is the hardest decision that you can make. But in the long run, it's the best decision to make. So it's the complete opposite of trying to do everything on your own. So asking for help is always a wise decision. So Calvin Ridley, I wish you the best, and we'll see you soon. Get your help and get right, and we'll see you very soon, stronger and better than ever.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's got a good network of friends. Like, I've had some people go through similar type stuff, and I've told them, you text me, you call me, you want to hang out, whatever the deal is. My DMs are open, my phone's open, whatever you want to, I need somebody, but hopefully, I'm sure he has that there. But Chris, we got a little bit of NBA and we got a little bit of NHL we can go through. We'll get to the NBA, the Monday Night Football game here in a little bit, but we got some NHL, Chris. We'll just go through that real quick. I know, I like to talk a little bit of NHL. I know it's not something always Beer and I like to get through, but looks like we got 3 games on tap tonight. And you know what? I'm kind of getting back into some NHL, to be truthful. It looks like our Red Wings are looking good. The Yzer plan here seems to be working out. And man, these young kids they got seem to be getting some headlines. So kind of exciting time. Maybe we can become Hockey Town again. But as you see some of these lines that they had on the screen, Chris, anything that stands out to you here today?
Yeah, absolutely. The later game, Seattle at Edmonton. I know it's still weird to me the Seattle Kraken have a professional hockey team here, but Seattle at Edmonton. Anytime Connor McDavid is on the ice here, you have to look at his way. The first line: Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Jesse Puljujarvi. Edmonton, they look to be they're minus 1.5 goals here. I think that Seattle loses this game, but the over and under here, 6.5 goals here, I think it goes over. I have the final score being about 4-3. So you do the math, that equals 7 here. And aside from that, look at the Washington and Tampa Bay game briefly. The graphic was up here. Tampa Bay hosting the Washington Capitals here. Washington's plus 1.5 goals in this one. And to me, that's wild given the fact that Washington's first line is just loaded. Evgeny Kuznetsov, Alexander Ovechkin, and Tom Wilson. So a lot of folks are going to be looking at the Edmonton first line, and they're going to be looking at Tampa Bay's first line. But why can't we kind of look at Washington's first power play unit or their second line? Alexander Ovechkin plays on the first line, both power play units. This guy rarely comes off the ice. So to me tonight, my favorite play is the Washington Capitals second line. Lars Eller, Anthony Mantha, you remember that name, and Daniel Sprong, all on FanDuel and DraftKings. On FanDuel, very reasonably priced. Lars Eller, only $3,800. Anthony Mantha, $5,800. And Daniel Sprong, $3,600. So obviously, we talk about chalk and fading that stuff in any and all sports. Edmonton on a 3-game slate, they're going to be almost unrealistically owned in terms of their percentage here. So to me, I love stacking the Washington second line and even getting a little taste of Ottawa's first line. And these are for GPPs, Josh Norris, Brady Tkachuk, and Drake Matheson to me. So it's a great slate. This is when I do my best work, to be honest with you. I know a lot of folks talk about 2-game slates, 3-game slates. They can't stand it. They fade it. That's when I go extra hard. I've already entered about 175 contests so far, and I'm going to enter all day right up until lock, where I'll edit my line, and it'll be one entry in all the different contests here.
Yeah. So Chris, when you build your team, I know a lot of people ask me too, when you build a lot of teams, do you use a computer, or do you use like a lineup builder, or you build them by hand? If I got the time, I actually like to build them by hand, and then I'll just plug and play, have a core of guys I like to use, and then I'll mix and match combinations of different other guys. So, I'll start out with, like you mentioned, you might want to have a couple guys in, like baseball and football. For me, I might have 4 guys from one team and mix in some other guys, maybe some other team stacks, something like that. So then I'm basically just trying to hit that one team going off for me. And if so, hopefully my mixtures of other players end up being the perfect combination and get you up to a top of a tournament. But yeah, hockey is definitely a niche sport in DFS. There are some really smart, intelligent people in there that play. So if you get in there, just remember on FanDuel, all the sharks, so to speak, cannot play anything less than $3. So get in there. Anything less than $3, you're pretty much swimming in basically a pool. There's no sharks in there. There probably are some pretty decent players. You can probably check it out and notice who they are. If you look in some higher contests and you keep seeing them in higher and higher and higher dollar value contests, chances are they're a better player. But a lot of people just dabble. So just kind of pay attention what you're entering. But Chris, we also got some NBA. Man, Beer Maker has been on fire. We were 16-2 last week, Chris. I'll tell you what, and those 2 losses were mine. Chris is just he's much better at NBA than I am. I'm not gonna hide it. My 2 sports, like I said, are football and baseball. But I do dabble a little bit. I do check it out. I don't know how much basketball you like to play. Like I said, I like to get in there a little bit. But I wouldn't say, like I said, it's my favorite sport. Over-unders are something you definitely got to pay attention to, team totals, stuff like that. Basketball seems to be a more number-driven type sport for me. But, Chris, is there anything you want to add to anything jump out of here in NBA? Any picks, anything along those lines here? But floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, there's a few specific players I want to mention for this evening slate here, and it starts to me with the Magic Center, Mo Bamba. He's only $7,100 on DraftKings, $6,600 on FanDuel. With Jonathan Isaac, he's still on the shelf. I'm reading from my notes here. So with Jonathan Isaac still on the shelf, Orlando is often they've played Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr. on the floor at the same time. So Mo Bamba, he's been the more productive of the 2 thus far, averaging about just over 13 points, 9 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks a game. So to me, Mo Bamba makes for a fantastic play at the center position. Another key cog in my lineups this evening, it's Indiana Pacers, Miles Turner. Now, I know they both play center here, so you can anchor both Mo Bamba and Miles Turner in 2 separate lines and build from there. Again, I'm with you. I build by hand most times, use an optimizer to kind of fill in the blanks if need be. But Miles Turner, Indiana Pacers center, $5,900 on DK, only $6,000 on FanDuel. Saturday night against Toronto, Turner, he had 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 blocks. He came away with just over 41 total points on DraftKings and 43 points on FanDuel. So as it stands now, Miles Turner leads the NBA in blocks this season. Only 7 games. He's got 20 already. One more shot I want to take is with the Spurs. They're tied with Minnesota over their last 3 games in terms of blocks and around 6.3 apiece a team here. So Turner should explode in this one in terms of blocks and all that, and we go from there. In terms of overall games here, I'm looking at it right now. Nothing stands out to me. I'm having more fun building, by hand here, picking my point guards, my shooting guards in there. And the last thing I would want to do on this broadcast is give some faulty information. And the last thing I want to do is kind of, dig in on Beer Maker's, betting stuff. So I'm going to leave that alone. Just know I'm all in on Mo Bamba and Miles Turner this evening.
I like it. Mo Bamba. He's my favorite guy. That's one of my favorite names to say, Mo Bamba. I just every time I see him, but I've just kind of been looking around on some optimizers. Mo Bamba is definitely popping on almost all of them. So he's a good play. SGA is a good play. Shai Gilgeous Alexander is popping on a lot. You got Derek White. You got Damian Lillard. Lonzo Ball is popping on a few. I like to play Lonzo. And then Chris, our old buddy Andre Drummond is popping up in a lot of the center spots. As bad as he is a player on the floor, it's as good as he is a player in DFS. But I mean, those rebounds really add up quick. He doesn't need to score, all that many points for you. But yeah, Drummond can drop a 50 burger on you and still suck on the floor. So I've experienced that many times. But Chris Boucher is another guy that's popping out. That comes up. Bradley Beal might be a guy for you. D'Angelo Russell, Paul George, guys like that. So, but yeah, just interesting. Some couple NBA bets. I'll throw a couple of them out there that I was looking at. One, Chris, I like I am going to roll with the Bulls going into Boston. They're getting 2.5 at this point. I think the Bulls are a better team. I'm going to take the Bulls over Boston here. And then one more. I'm going to give the 9 points with the Timberwolves with Orlando coming into town. I think Orlando stinks. I'm just going to keep betting against the crappy teams. So those two picks are my picks. So I'm rolling with the Bulls and I'm rolling with Minnesota tonight. But I'll try to get with Beer Maker Fan and maybe we can get a couple other NBA picks from him. Maybe we'll throw them out there on the Woodward Bets Twitter page. So make sure you guys get over there, follow that. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up button and hit that little subscribe button there for us. That helps us out quite a bit. And then also make sure you guys get over there to that Woodward Sports Network page. Subscribe to our network on YouTube as well. Get over to that Twitter page. I know I wanted to get in there, Chris, and check out Ryan and Braylon's show. I'm sure the Spartan fans were lined up all the way down from Birmingham to probably all the way down there from Ford Field. They're probably lined up to get a little piece. Ask Braylon if he knows who those defensive players' names are now. But hey, as I told everybody, man, that dude played in the game. He owned them himself when you can't fault that. He actually fought in that war. He dominated. He had 5 touchdowns, 340 some yards. I mean, the man of all of us, he can talk shit. I mean, it doesn't matter. He's not supposed to know. That's not his team that know the Michigan State Spartan. He doesn't need to know that. So, but yeah, Kenneth Walker. I mean, that guy, wow, 5 touchdowns. That was a fun game to watch, though. I can definitely say that. But, Chris, the bad thing is either way, either team won. Majority of the fans from either side probably would have complained about the refereeing. We saw a couple calls there. I was just kind of hoping it'd be a clean game. We wouldn't have that. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But, hey, just like a championship fight, a UFC fight, anything that happens, and we both think we're slighted, maybe we get to bounce it back, and you never know. We'll see what happens. We always got next year coming up, but I will say, as a Michigan fan, my patience is on thin ice with Mr. Harbaugh. I will say that. I'm having a hard time with it at this point. I understand that's pretty much a tough job if you're not a Michigan man. We got a Michigan man, everything else. So Tom Brady, can you please retire after this year? We have a job waiting for you in Ann Arbor, and you would definitely be the king. But that is definitely a pipe dream. Definitely a pipe dream. But Chris, if that happened, what would you think about that?
That would be fantastic. I don't see it happening in a million years after Tom Brady retires. When will he? Will he ever retire? I think as soon as he's done with the NFL, he'll have some sort of venture. And I also think Tom Brady wouldn't even kind of go into sort of like a game calling thing. Like, a lot of these folks like Tony Romo, let's say, or Drew Brees, they retire. They were unbelievable talents on the field. They go into the booth and they're in the studio. I don't think Tom Brady wants anything to do with, calling games and stuff. He's a bird. He's a wild animal. You got to let him free. You can't keep him in the studio, calling games and traveling around the country with Jim Nantz. So I don't know what the future holds for Tom Brady after football, but I can honestly say it's not going to be in the booth calling football games, and it's not going to be the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, although that bums me out, but there's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being a kid and Tom Brady walk in your living room? Oh man, you'd be like, "Where's the paper? I'll sign right now to play for you." I
Yeah,
mean, we're
run
almost
through
seeing
a
it now with
wall.
Juwan Howard. I mean, I think that's going to be the new wave of some of these college coaches, coaching opportunities. I mean, damn, Juwan Howard watching your living room, and you're a young kid. I understand these kids are too young to know who the Fab Five is, but they know who Juwan Howard is. So, he obviously won a little bit there with LeBron James, played with them, and so I think that's going to be the new way. We're already seeing it with Penny Hardaway, so that's going to be interesting. We see Deion Sanders has a football team, so that's interesting. But Chris, this Monday night football game here. Man, we got the struggling Chiefs and the Giants tonight. It's a very interesting game. We got a 10.5 spread. The Chiefs are minus 10.5. Over under is 52.5. And Chris, I know Mahomes and all the boys here kind of had a rough go. They're talking about them not making the playoffs. And now here they are on the NFL grand stage, Monday night football. I think the Chiefs might want to come out and prove something to everybody. But man, I think they're going to have a hard time with Danny Dimes and these Giants here tonight.
I respectfully disagree. I think this game is going to go exactly how we think it's going to go. Patrick Mahomes, just the trio, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, they're going to establish dominance. And you can throw in a little bit of Darrell Williams here. Only $11,500 on FanDuel. I say only, that's a ton of money. But on FanDuel, you want touchdown equity. And on DraftKings, Darrell Williams, only $9,000 here. To me, everybody's going to have Mahomes in the captain spot or Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't be so opposed to Darrell Williams, and they're having for around 15 carries, 70 total yards, and a touchdown on the ground, and then a couple receptions, 2, maybe 3 receptions. I know the 3 receptions is a little ambitious, given the fact that Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman's absolutely in play, and given the fact Kelce is there. But to me, we know what we're going to get from Kansas City in this one. I think they win big by around, let's just call it 20, 21 points or so. Crazy to say, but on the New York Giants side of things, if you're playing single game slate this evening, which way are we going to go? Daniel Jones, I think, has a great game. 290 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, something along those lines, maybe even 30, 40 yards rushing on around 6 carries. These are my own personal projections. Don't hold it against me. And in terms of the running backs, Devontae Booker, Eli Penny, hard pass for me. I don't know how that's going to shake out. And to me, Sterling Shepard, the rookie Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, and even Dante Pettis, there's just too much unknown going into that. I think the only thing I can tell folks and tell you right now, Scott, with absolute certainty, is I'd prefer Kadarius Toney, $8,500 on FanDuel, and his flex spot position on DraftKings only $6,800. I have Toney around 8 targets, 5, maybe 6 receptions, 75 yards. Will he find the end zone? I'm not 100% sure. That's how indecisive I am with my New York Giants wide receivers this evening. And then you get down to Evan Ingram, hard pass, and then you get to the defenses. I think the Kansas City Chiefs have a chance here to maybe be, worthy of a captain spot, especially on DraftKings in a big GPP. A game like this, everything is like set out before us. Everybody thinks they know what they're doing. Just stack Kansas City and go from there. I have a feeling that tomorrow, one of the bigger contest entry winners will have the Kansas City Chiefs DST somewhere in there, in the captain spot or in a flex position. I have the Chiefs 2, maybe 3 sacks, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries, and I believe one of those fumble recoveries will be some sort of strip sack on Daniel Jones, and maybe they take it to the house on that one. So a defensive touchdown in your flex spot this evening would be just money here. So I like the Kansas City Chiefs to win. I'll give you the score at the end of this broadcast here. I don't want to, give away the lead in this one.
All right, sounds good. I'll tell you, though, a couple things here of note. I agree with a lot of what you were saying. There's a few things, though, that I'll just respectfully disagree. But on the sacks that you have there for the Chiefs, I will say they are last in the NFL sack rate. They've only got 3% sack rate, which is very, very low. They're bottom 5 in even getting to the quarterback and even hitting him. And then Kansas City allows a league high for quarterback rushing yards, which Danny Dimes is number 3, only behind Jackson and Hurts as far as quarterback rushing. I think Danny Dimes here is going to have a pretty clean pocket. We're going to see him able to throw. I do like your Kadarius Toney call. I think he is a very sneaky. That kid's a hell of an athlete. So he looks like, I saw some video this week. He looked like he was making a couple incredible catches in practice, one-hander, jumping around. Looked like he was fine to me with that ankle. So Kadarius Toney is a guy I believe they know they got to get the ball to. He's one of their better playmakers. We're going to have to pay attention as the game goes on to see exactly what's going to shake out with some of these injuries that they had. But I think they're going to get a lot of these guys back today, the Sterling Shepards and Slayton. We'll see. But that Kansas City pass defense is really vulnerable in the middle of the field, especially these slot receivers and tight ends, and then dump off to the running backs. But really do like your Darrell Williams call. I will say they were in a terrible game script for him last week against Tennessee as they were getting just absolutely whooped. And he only got 8 carries. So I think a lot of people are going to look at that, and they're going to shy away from him. So, Chris, I'll tell you, if I do like what you're thinking there. If Kansas City's going to be winning the game, Darrell Williams is going to have a second half where he's going to get the ball quite a bit. I do like Tyreek Hill in this game and Travis Kelce. I think both of them are great plays. I could see Kansas City getting up by maybe a couple scores here. And then I can see Darrell Williams getting the ball quite a bit today, maybe 15 to 20 times. And if that's the case, I don't mind that call of him sneaking in there, especially in the captain spot, especially on DraftKings where you do get a little salary relief for some of these guys here. On FanDuel, I always try to jam in the guy I think is going to be the highest scoring and then try to fill in around him. DraftKings a little bit different animal when you get to these showdowns. But Chris, we got 57% of the money is coming in on the Chiefs on the money line from the games we see, from the bets we see. But just kind of looking at some Monday night trends, the under is 7-1 in the last 8 against a team with a losing record for the Giants. The under 6-1 in the last 7 games following against the spread win for the Giants. The under is 4-0 in the Chiefs' last 4 Monday games. So we know they've been playing on Monday night quite a bit, especially with Mahomes. So that's interesting. The Chiefs are 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 home games. The Chiefs are 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games as a home favorite, would go along with that home game there. And the Giants are 0-7 in their last 7 games after allowing less than 15 points in their previous games. So it looks like if they have pretty stout defensive effort, they're coming out and laying pretty flat going forward. So, Chris, I will say here for me, I think I like the over in this game. I think the Chiefs are obviously going to score, and I think Danny Dimes is going to have a clean pocket. Like I said, I think some of these receivers are just going to be a bit much for this Kansas City Chiefs defense, who we've seen just been getting gashed. So I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I think the 10 points here is going to be tough for them to cover. I actually don't mind bumping it up a little bit here, maybe even to, if I can get it, maybe I've seen it at 10.5 in some spots. If it goes up to 11 anywhere, I'm teasing that up to 17 instantly. So if I can get the Giants in 17 points, I really like that. But I think in this game here, the over 52 is my favorite play. Chris, is there anybody here you would bet on or you like as maybe an anytime touchdown that you've looked at as, I know you like some Darrell Williams. He's he's got an interesting, he's minus 115 to score. So they obviously agree with you a little bit here. Tyreek Hill is minus 165. You talk about Kadarius Toney. He's 3-1 plus 300 to score a touchdown. I do like that. Mahomes is plus 230 to run one in. But the one I found interesting is Daniel Jones is plus 270. I think he's got a really good chance to run one in himself here too. We just read here that the Chiefs are obviously one of the worst against the run defense for quarterbacks. So I think that's interesting. And then you mentioned the Kansas City Chiefs defense. They are plus 420, Chris. So some interesting spots there. Is there any there that stand out for you?
Yeah, I'm looking it up now as we go because I had it in my phone and then it went away here. I love the idea of a parlay with Devontae Booker anytime touchdown and a McCole Hardman touchdown. And those two together, you can get that at plus 637. So if you put 25 bucks on that one, you can get back $159.31 if it matters. I think Devontae Booker finds the end zone, and I think McCole Hardman catches a touchdown. And if you add in Kadarius Toney and you keep that $25 bet, it then bumps up to almost $450 in terms of the point spread here. So I love all those to find the end zone here. I think Kansas City wins this one pretty handedly here. I have Kansas City putting up 38 points in comparison to the New York Football Giants around 17. I'd be shocked if they put up more than 20, 21 points in this one. So I love the over, as you said, and give me Kansas City minus 10. That's an all-day bet for me. It's been booked since Friday afternoon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as the game goes on too, I'll tell you what, if the Chiefs get down, I'm gonna live bet the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs lose here. I think the Chiefs are gonna. So I mean, if the Giants run down, they score 7 points, 10 quick points on the Chiefs. I think that's a pretty good opportunity to live bet a game. So gonna be watching that. I do like the over in the second half of this game as well, and I like. I do like parlaying a few of these touchdown anytime prop guys like you mentioned. You get pretty good odds on them. Maybe pair 2 or 3 together. I think this game is going to have. I mean, I think we're going to see up to maybe 7, 8 touchdowns in this game here. So I think that's very reasonable. I think you could even see a little bit more. So parlaying a few of those guys together and capturing that, or maybe throwing in a guy to get 2 touchdowns, maybe paired with another or 2 that might be a longer shot. It's not a bad idea. It's fun. It's something fun to do. I'm not saying get too crazy with it, but those are always fun. But Chris, before we get out of here, I just want to mention to everybody, make sure you guys get over there, follow our Twitter pages at Detroit BZ. I'm at G_Risen. Chris is at Beer Makers Fan. Make sure you guys get over there, follow our at Woodward Bets and the whole network page as a whole. But Chris, before we get out of there, let's just wrap up our best bets for the night. I know you had a hockey one. Just go ahead and say that. Let us know the football. I'll give my 2 basketball, and then I'll give my football one, and then we'll get out of here.
Sure. I love the over 6.5 goals in the Seattle at Edmonton Oilers hockey game. That is at 9:30 this evening Eastern time, so you have to wait longer. I also love the Washington Capitals plus 1.5 goals in Tampa Bay this evening. I think they keep it close, and I think Washington wins outright here, and they're getting a goal and a half. And as I said earlier, I love the idea of the Kansas City Chiefs minus 10 points, no brainer. And I'm with you. I'm glad you said it. I'll be live betting along with this one as well.
Sounds fun. I'll tell you. So we get out of here. As I mentioned, my basketball games, just to recap, I have the Bulls getting 2.5. And then I have the Timberwolves given the 9. And then I also like the over in the football game tonight, over 52. And just kind of throw in a guy there to score a touchdown. I do like Kadarius Toney to score a touchdown tonight, Chris. And I do like your Williams call. I think he's going to score a touchdown. So 2 guys that to throw at you as well. So if you want to parlay together. But Chris, we're going to head on out of here. But good luck to everybody. For Easy Behind the Glass, for Detroit Beastie, I'm Scott, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Good luck.